Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in San Antonio with a guy who slept in his bed last night, Cibolo Steele coach David Saenz. Coach, let's start with this. We're not necessarily the most popular people in Cibolo, Texas right now because we ranked you guys 23rd in the state. That's where we have you ranked. And then so we made these graphics that we cut off at the top 20 is what we did. And so you guys, if we had done the whole top 40, you would have been in there. But no fan base. We did this for every classification. No fan base chirped at us more than Steele Knights fans. Can you explain it?
Oh, we got a lot of pride in our community. That's the only thing I can think of. It is what it is. And
do you agree with our rankings?
No comment.
You can say no. You can yell at me. That's what we invited you on.
No. I mean, we don't worry about the things we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
It's rankings, and last year we were picked to win it. In top 5 in the state, and made the quarterfinals. But we don't really worry about the things that are out of our control when it comes to rankings and things like that early on in the year.
So Cibolo fans, you can continue to hate us. I want to talk a bit about last year, which was really, I'm interested in the word you would use to describe it, because I'm kind of at a loss for words on because there's no real singular way to describe it, because there was a lot of things that happened and a lot of ways that things went great or terrible all at once. So how would you characterize last season?
It was for my first year being a head coach. It was more than anything I would say is it was like a seesaw, up and down. And we played a pretty tough schedule early on those first 5 games, and we knew we were in all those games, but it seemed like we were making critical mistakes in critical times of the game. And when you play teams of the caliber that we were playing, they're gonna exploit those things and take advantage of them. And that was a lot of our issues early on. After that 5th game, we decided to make a switch at quarterback, and then we brought the freshman up, and he did a tremendous job for us, and we finished out 8-1, losing the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I mean, it really was, and that's always been the Steele way for every coach, is to schedule a murderer's row non-district schedule.
Yes, sir.
I guess it's fair to say that, because I've seen your schedule again this year.
Yes, sir.
I guess it's fair to say that that's not going to change under David Saenz.
No, not at all. That's what the preseason is for, is to get you ready for district. You want to see what kind of team we're going to have against some of the best teams in the area, in the state, and there's no better way to do it than by playing great competition.
Yeah, you guys are in a part of the state and in a district that tests you so much, and in a lot of ways it tests coaches even more than players, I think, because I think that you're up against a great coach every single week. And I don't necessarily think I love coaches, but I don't necessarily think every district in the state is like that. From your perspective, how much of a challenge is it just for you to go out there and compete, let alone your players going out there and doing it?
Yeah, you just got to make sure we're prepared every week. Like you said, every team we play, they're going to be extremely well coached, and from the first game of the year to the last game of the year, no matter who the opponent is. And our job as coaches is to get our kids in position to make plays and to be successful. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've done since Mike was there, Scott was there, and we're going to continue to do those things.
Do you feel like everyone in the program knows what's expected?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because we've been together. Our staff's been together for a long time, mm-hmm. and we're all on the same page. The kids understand the foundation that was set before them. With the kids that have, the way they work, the way they went about their business, and the expectations of the programs, and our team knows, our community knows, our staff knows, the school knows the expectations of the Steele Knights.
Yeah, it's high expectations, but you'd rather it be that way than not.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt.
You guys are a program that I think it's easy to forget are still in your infancy. You guys are you've been on this staff for a long time, but this past year was your first year as head coach.
Yes, sir.
What do you know now that you didn't know last year at this time?
Going into the season, just all the administrative work that goes into behind the scenes that you don't really see as an assistant. As an assistant, you just you coach your position, you call the defense or call the offense, and that's pretty much what you're worried about. Getting into the you always think you're prepared to be a head coach until you're sitting in that seat, and then you get thrown all the other aspects of being a head coach. Not just on coaching the football part of it. It's the other little things that you don't see when you're an assistant.
I was glancing over my notes because I had forgotten the name of your freshman quarterback, but Wyatt Beagle.
Yes.
Who really did. He blossomed. He grew late. I think that in watching you guys, in the early going when you put him in, there were times he looked like a freshman.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even throughout every game, I don't think you can ever coach a freshman out of looking like a freshman sometimes. But how important is it? How much do you think that his experience that he had last year is going to play into what you guys do this year?
I think it's going to be tremendous for us just because he's going to, he played 9 games. He saw the speed of the game. He played in some pretty big ball games, playing the 4th round of the playoffs. And, he's a great kid. He works extremely hard. He's a 4.0 student, and he's everything that you would, expect a quarterback. He does the things that a quarterback needs to do in order to be successful.
A lot of people associate quarterbacks with being like the leader of the team.
Yes, sir.
Even as a sophomore, do you he may not be like that guy right now, but do you feel like he's getting toward that?
He's got the respect of the team. And, just his work ethic and the way that he goes about his business, not only on the field but in the classroom, in the community. He's leading, and he's a natural leader. And the kids, they gravitate towards him, and he does a great job of staying positive and just by the way he works more than anything is how I think is his greatest leadership attribute.
Well, let's quit talking about the superstars. Let's talk about where the game is won. Great Steele teams are always great in the trenches, and they're great on defense.
Right.
I'll let you choose which one you want to talk about first.
We talk about the defense.
Let's do it because you go back to those title teams, that title team, and I think everyone remembers the running game and some of those stars, but that won a title because of defense. I'm 100% convinced. And how would you assess what you guys are going to look like defensively?
I think this year we're going to be a little bit bigger up front. Last year was probably one of the smaller defensive lines that we had while we've been there at Steele, but we'll be a little bit bigger up front. Defensively, anytime you lose a Caden Stearns or a Javion Cardwell, that's tough to replace. But we got some guys that are ready to step in. They hadn't had the opportunity because those guys were ahead of them. But you got Xavier Player, Jalen Jones, Chase Cromartie on the back end, and then we got Ruffin and Jalen Reed as our linebackers. So we had a good spring. They run into the football, but more than anything, I think. What's going to help us is we're going to be a little bit bigger up front with our front four.
Well, and there you go. But, the defensive line, the offensive line as well.
Yes,
the offensive line is kind of where you guys hang your hat,
yes,
and it seems like this year you've got the pieces that could make for a pretty solid offensive line.
Oh, without a doubt. You got Stanley Mark back. He's going to be a 3-year starter. Peter Selly, the same thing, 3-year starter. We got our center's going to be Aaron Rudd. He was going to play quite a bit for us, but he tore his ACL early on in the year last year. So offensive line wise, we like what we have. The 2 guys that are back that have all that experience they did a great job in the spring of leading the rest of those guys that were new to it, and we'll be all right offensive line wise.
Not a ton changed for you guys in realignment, except for 2 things.
Right.
1, San Marcos, not bad. 2, the first round playoff matchup.
I know.
I talked with Todd Dodge about this, and he was the first. That was the first thing he said. He goes, "No, we got to play Steele in the first round or something like that."
Yeah.
Is that when you talk about realignment? Is that's immediately what you talk about?
Yep, that's what the first thing we saw when we saw that we were 26.
You're like, oh no.
Well, we got to for every, not just football, but every sport now. We're going to Austin to play but hey, it is what it is. Eventually, you got to play them either first round, 4th round. But
yeah, it is what it is. You can't control it.
Can't control it. Don't worry about it. Just let the cards fall and let's get ready to play.
David Saenz of Cibolo Steele. One last thing to do: spin the Dick's Sporting Goods wheel of questions. DickSportingGoods.com is where you can do it. Whatever it lands on, you have to answer truthfully. Let's see. All right, we're gonna have to take this one off the board next because this is like the 3rd time we've landed on it. If you weren't a coach, what would you be doing for a living?
Ooh, I was not a coach. Actually, I'd probably working like in the my summer job. I worked in the pipeline there. I'm
Really?
from Three Rivers, so
Yeah.
there's a Valero refinery there, and
You're probably going to petroleum engineering.
yeah, I was 2 or 3 years. I was working in the pipeline division of that. So
Really?
That's
So you probably
what
work
I've
in that?
been- Yep.
Do you prefer coaching, though?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
David Saenz, Cibolo Steele. Coach, appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.